Listen, I'm just from jogging and I want to share this with you. Very important, and I want you to listen to this very attentively. I want to talk about grief. There are many people in their lives, they have shared such a strong bond or strong relationship with a family member or partner, whoever it may be. And when you have given your all, or sometimes when you never received your all and you lose that person, you tend to have what is called grief, which is what I want to talk about quickly. Let me tell you something. Grief is love with no place to go, and it cannot be bailed out and cannot be nagged. Let me repeat this, you are not getting me clearly. Grief is love with no place to go. It cannot be bailed out or nagged. Let me tell you, there are some people in their life, deep down in the pericardium of their heart, they anchor the enterprise of a bond or relationship or a family for that matter, you know. But however, I want to tell you this, men do not have an endless supply. Does not have an endless supply, you know. As a person, there are people, or you enter into a relationship thinking that you owe someone and they owe you, and that's the worst mistake you can ever do. Because that, when there's a point of separation, when there's a point of losing someone, you tend to develop the grief. Let me tell you, the challenge is when you are grieving, there are some things that cannot be fixed but can only be carried deep down in your heart, but they've got no place to go. Let me tell you, in Psalm 34 verse 18, the Lord comforts those with grief. He said, the Lord is near the brokenhearted and save those that are having the crushed spirit. Meaning when you have grief, you are brokenhearted, but the Lord, He sees your spirit and that is crushed, and He will support you. In Psalm 73 verse 26, it says, though my heart may fail due to my flesh, but I know that God is my strength and my portion forever. So even though you become weak, even though you know that you are failing because of flesh, but your strength must keep running, because why? You know God is there. In John 16, I think verse 22, it says, you too have grieved now as I'm talking, but I, God, will again comfort your heart, and no one will take the grief away from you. You know, one thing that you should know is that when a person is in grief, their tears or the tears of that person are not a sign of weakness, but a sign of a pure heart. And people tend to misunderstand and think that a person is begging. He's not nagging, he's not begging. It's a sign of pure heart because of the bond, the relationship that the person had. You are not getting me. Let me tell you, if the challenge goes higher and higher, or it rises and rises, that grief is like when adding salt to a tumbler. There comes a point when simply no more will be absorbed. So I want you to get me clearly that some things cannot be fixed but can only be carried.